All right, today we're looking at this incredible project coming out of Oman. It's all about using AI to build a more inclusive world. And get this, it all started with a student's idea.
Just take a second and really think about that. I mean, imagine tech that could see for you or speak for you. For millions of people, this isn't just a cool thought experiment. It's the key to everything, to independence, to connection, to just navigating a world that often wasn't designed with them in mind.
So let's break this down. On one hand, you've got the stuff we do every single day without a second thought. You know, reading a street sign, spotting a friend in a crowd, jumping into a conversation. But for someone with a visual or hearing impairment, those exact same moments, they can be full of uncertainty, maybe even isolation. And that is the gap this new tech is trying to bridge.
So where did this solution we're talking about come from? Well, you might think it's from some giant billion-dollar tech company, right? Nope. This whole thing started as an idea in a university classroom in Muscat.
Okay, so here it is. It's called the Smart Eye and Sign Translator, and it's the brainchild of a student researcher, Mohamed Hamdy Abdallah Eissa, over at the Arab Open University. His goal is, well, it's a big one, but it's super clear. Create one single system that's affordable, portable, and helps people with both vision and hearing impairments. And this is the real deal. It's not just some side project. It's actually got the backing of Oman's Ministry of Higher Education.
All right, so how does this whole thing actually work? Let's get into the tech. It's basically two key pieces of hardware that work together, a pair of smart glasses and some smart gloves. First up, let's talk about the smart glasses. So they have this little mini camera that's constantly scanning the user's environment. Then, the AI brain on board kicks in. It starts identifying obstacles, recognizing familiar faces, and it can even read text, like from a street sign or a book. And the best part? It then whispers all of this information right to the user through an earpiece. It's like having your own personal guide. Okay, so that's the eyes. Now for the hands. These smart gloves are designed to literally give a voice to sign language. A person makes a sign in Arabic Sign Language, and these sensors packed into the glove track every single movement, every bend of the fingers. Then, and this is the magic part, the system translates those gestures into text, right there, in real time. It's all about breaking down those communication barriers on the spot.
So what's the brain behind all this magic? It's an AI model called MobileNet V2. Now, you don't need to be an expert, but what you need to know is that it's a type of deep learning AI that's super lightweight and efficient. And that's absolutely crucial, right? Because this whole thing needs to be portable. The team fed it a ton of sensor data to specifically teach it how to recognize all 32 letters of the Arabic Sign Language alphabet.
Okay, and this is where things get really cool, because the team is being totally open about how well the AI is doing right now. If you look, the average score is pretty solid, over 80%. And for some letters, like Ghain, it's almost perfect. But then you see a letter like Gaf, and it's struggling a bit more there. But this isn't bad news. This is actually fantastic data. It tells the researchers exactly which signs the AI needs to practice more, so they know exactly where to focus to make it even smarter. So you might be thinking, okay, this tech is impressive, but how does it really stack up against what's already out there? And that's a great question, because while smart glasses and translator gloves aren't brand new ideas, the way this Omani project puts it all together, that's what could make it a total game changer.
And this chart really lays it all out. When you look at most commercial tech, what do you see? It's often crazy expensive. It's usually focused on English or other non-Arabic languages, and it typically only helps with one disability, either vision or hearing. This student project flips all of that. It's designed to be affordable. It's tailored specifically for Arabic, and this is a big one. It combines both vision and hearing assistance into one system. That's super rare.
And let's just double-click on that cost piece for a second, because it's so important. A commercial vision aid, something like an Orca My Eye, can set you back around $3,500. That's just not possible for so many people. By focusing on low-cost parts and open-source AI, the whole goal here is to make this incredible, life-changing tech accessible to folks who have been completely priced out of the market until now. But here's the thing. Amazing tech in a lab is one thing. Making it a tool that someone can actually use and rely on every single day? That's a whole different challenge. So how are they planning to take this from the lab out into real life?
Well, the goals they're aiming for are really clear, and they're all about real human impact. We're talking about giving someone who's visually impaired the confidence to navigate their city on their own. We're talking about tearing down the communication walls for the deaf community. It's about helping someone recognize a friend's face, and really, at the end of the day, it's about empowering people in school, at their jobs, and just in their daily lives. And the team is smart. They know they can't build this in a vacuum. So what's the very next step?
getting it into the hands of the people it's meant for. They're planning to team up with Omani disability associations for real-world pilot testing. This is so critical, because it's how you get that crucial feedback to make sure the device isn't just clever, but actually comfortable, useful, and user-friendly.
It's this focus on the actual user that's so important here, and it's really paving the way for a future that's more accessible for everyone. So with all that in mind, what's next for the Smart Eye project? Where does it go from here? Well, they are not stopping anytime soon, that's for sure. Right now, they have a prototype that can recognize sign language letter by letter. The very next step is to level that up to translate full words and even whole sentences, and then have the system actually speak them out loud. And looking further down the road, they want to make the hardware even sleeker, and maybe even add support for other languages. Talk about ambitious.
You know, a project like this is such a great reminder that true innovation isn't always about the next flashy smartphone. Sometimes it's about using technology to solve real, fundamental human challenges. And it just leaves you with this one kind of amazing thought to chew on. What if the next world-changing idea isn't in a Silicon Valley boardroom, but in a university classroom, maybe even right now?